Welcome to the High Adventure Scouting Podcast. This is the source for all things high adventure for scouts, scouters, and anyone else interested in promoting high adventure trips for our youth. You can find all kinds of great high adventure options for your scouts at highadventurescouting.com. We are constantly updating the list of cool trips, and we want your input on your best trip. Welcome, high adventure enthusiasts. We're excited, as always, to highlight a high adventure base on this edition of the High Adventure Scouting Podcast. Now, today we're joined by Jacob Southwick, High Adventure Director, and Scott Thiessen, Executive Director for ZBASE, and they're part of the Indian Nations Council. Now, their high adventure base is known as Zink High Adventure Base, or everybody knows it as ZBASE for short, and they're located near Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think I've interviewed ZBASE more than any other high adventure base, and it's a pretty cool place. So, Jacob and Scott, thanks for joining us today on the High Adventure Scouting Podcast.
Glad to be here again.
Awesome. Now, I did count up. This was our fourth podcast, and there is an overview of ZBASE that we did a couple years ago. So I think it's from 2019. So that would be a great place to start if you want to know about ZBASE, what they offer. Today, we're going to kind of run through what was 2022 like, what's coming up for 2023, and it sounds like they've got some really cool things planned. And I always like to do these updates just for the next season. Everybody's planning. This would be a good one to start out. So I don't know where you guys want to start, but I think, Scott, you kind of wanted to go first, and then we'll go from there and see what happens.
Yeah, we're always excited to talk to you, Rob, and everybody else out there. Just as a brief recap, ZBASE is near Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we offer just unique adventures out there that you just can't find anyplace else altogether. So some pieces you might find here at this camp or another high adventure base, but we are able to offer it all in one spot. We sit on 40,000 acres of land, and then we also have access to a 10,000 acre lake and have 16 miles of shoreline on that lake. So we've been operating. This was our third full year. We actually had we called them beta treks back in 2019 when we first started interviewing here, doing these podcasts. But this is our third full year, and this was our biggest year. And so we had crews coming from northern Colorado, around the St. Louis area, Houston. So we were multi-states, and we are gearing up for 2023, and that's why we have Jacob Southwick here. He's our new high adventure director. He was his first season in that role this last year, kind of taking us to the next level. And we just signed up a crew from the Las Vegas Area Council just the other day, and we took a call yesterday from Erie, Pennsylvania. So ZBASE is definitely spreading our wings and getting out there. And so we are improving our program and updating just like everybody else is out there. And so I'm going to let Jacob jump in here and really tell us about some of the new stuff. We're really excited about a couple of new programs, a couple of new ideas we have going on. So I'll give it over to Jacob to give us some updates.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Take it away.
We have a lot of big ideas for the next year. Some of them we're launching even this fall. So we've been doing the hiking backpacking merit badge weekend for the last couple of years, and we've kind of slowly been revamping it each session, making it a little bit more involved. Because our big vision on this is being able to teach experiences, skills, so that scouts who come to our programs can utilize things on their next adventures. So we've really done that with the hiking backpacking weekend. We still meet a lot of the merit badge requirements. Those are two pretty beefy merit badges on their own, and so we don't actually complete them during the weekend, but we do meet a lot of those requirements. And where we've really started to emphasize is getting more of the backcountry experience. Our volunteer who helps run those is super experienced, goes backpacking on trips in Colorado and all over the place, has brought just a wealth of experience as far as uh, cooking, hanging bear bags, tracking mileage, all of these things that he puts on a phenomenal program. And then this past spring, we kind of added an element to that we call the shakedown weekend. And this program is really designed for crews who are going on a high adventure experience. So if they're going to Belmont or ZBASE or Northern Tier, or if they're doing, their own unit level adventure somewhere, because I know a lot of units like to go to the national parks and do a trek on their own. This program is really geared for them to be able to work as a crew. Basically, it's a shakedown, but then we also supplement in the instruction on bear bags, and cooking, and how to fit a pack, and all the stuff that you would go through at a normal high adventure base. We just do it a little earlier, and then that helps the crew get used to the process when they do go to a high adventure base. It also gives the crew a really good opportunity to figure out how they work together, but without having to do any of that planning on their end. This fall, we are doing that hiking backpacking weekend again, and we are matching that one with a trail crew weekend. So our OA Lodge is staffing that event, and they're super hyped and excited for it. It's open to everybody, everybody that's 13 and older. So non-OA people are welcome to join in. And it's a day of working on trail and helping us really get our trails cleared and maintained the way they need. There's also that recreation element. So this year it's going to be our aerial adventure tower and our sporting clays. We're going to have those open for that recreation component. And then looking into next year, for the last couple of years, we've done aquatics merit badge weekends, and they're awesome, but we want to go bigger. We want to do better, and we have a lot of cool stuff and a lot of cool opportunities. So we are going to take away those 2 aquatics merit badge weekends and make one big aquatics adventure. It's going to be a 4-day, 3-night program. And pretty much all the aquatics things that we can do are going to happen. There's going to be a lot of merit badge components with that. So there's going to be opportunity for canoeing and kayaking and swimming and life saving if there are scouts that still want to earn those merit badges. But we're also going to be incorporating some of the jet skis, the Cape of Wake Park, and the full 10,000 acres that Skiatook Lake has to offer. So we're pretty excited about that one.
Man, that's a lot right there. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to write all this stuff down just so I know it. So now I'll just interject because I did see that shakedown weekend when it came up on social media, and I thought that's an idea that I think could be done in different parts of the country that really prepares groups for, and like you said, not only Philmont, but any other hiking related event that's going on within their unit. My unit actually brought a group out in 2021, and most of those in that particular group that came actually went to Philmont this past summer, and
nice.
They were very prepared physically. They still had to work through the challenges of group dynamics and all those things that every group works on, but they were they were in pretty good shape because I also trained them up a little bit on what to expect as we went in 2021 on our track finally, and which this is why I started this whole website, and that's where it came is when Jacob probably doesn't know that our trip was canceled in 2018, and that's what led to all this because I wanted to find out all the council activities that were out there so we could do stuff. So that's kind of where that came from. So I'm glad that you guys have that. That's an awesome sort of thing to have for that. So I
Well,
interrupted there. What else is happening? So throw it out there.
I'm glad that you kind of gave me a nice segue into our summer program, because that's all of our weekend events in the off season. They all kind of funnel into our big high adventure season, and this year we had our biggest season ever, like Scott mentioned. It was a phenomenal year. It was a lot of fun just to be at ZBASE, see everything running at capacity. We had just a ton of people out and around, and there was always something going on. It was just so awesome to see everything in motion. We had more staff than we've ever had before. We had more crews, more participants than we've ever had before. And so we kind of took all of that experience from this summer and started looking at what we are going to do for next summer, because next summer we got to get bigger. So we are actually adding a week to our season for next summer. That's going to give us an opportunity for a minimum of 8 extra crews. We've also rescheduled our trek itineraries to kind of streamline things and make everything more efficient on our end, and as far as programming wise. And we're looking to what else we can do. We've got some visions for some new programs, and we've got a lot of opportunities. Again, 40,000 acres is a lot that we can do with. So we're looking at new trails. We're looking at new adventures. We're looking at almost creating like a satellite base camp, playing around with that idea. Nothing's confirmed on that yet, but everything we are doing, we're making a bunch of improvements just to our program, to our logistics, and then even to our facilities. Like our Adirondacks, we're making plans to screen in our Adirondacks. We're looking at new facilities to be able to introduce air conditioning, because it's summertime, it's hot. Air conditioning is always nice.
It's Oklahoma, so
it is. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't breaking a sweat.
Oh yeah.
But we're doing a lot of things. We are rolling out a new pricing structure for 2023. So our standard fee is going to be $650 per person for ZBASE Adventure, which even though we're going up on our pricing fee, and that's just a product of inflation. All of our costs are going up.
Oh yeah. I think everybody's costs have gone up a little bit. I mean, you kind of have to pay for the program, so that's it's understandable. Some of them have gone way up. I won't mention which one, but they have. So I think everybody can understand that. So,
but we, even with increasing our price a little bit, we still feel that we are the best bang for your buck as far as adventures go. We offer a lot to do as ZBASE. That's the thing that I think people don't really get when they're looking at ZBASE. They want to compare program to Philmont, and Philmont is an amazing program. I think we can all agree on that. I know I cut my teeth at Philmont, So just huge amounts of respect for that program. But that is a backpacking program with a little bit of, outside entertainment. ZBASE, hiking is a huge component of what we do, but really the jewel in our crown is the adventures. It's the sporting clays facility, 18 stations, lots of shells going through those guns at that adventure area. We've got our 70-foot adventure tower. We've got our ATV program, our jet program, the one and only Cable Wake Park. There's just so many people that don't realize like that's what our program is, and those programs will take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, depending on what the area is, how engaged the staff are going to be on like what they're trying to do with the crew that day. Obviously weather's a big factor with that as well. But
Absolutely, and you may not like this comparison, but when people ask me what it's about, I immediately say, all right, everybody's familiar with the program, the BSA program at the Bechtel Summit with all the different stations and different things. And I said it's a smaller version with some different things than that, and in a little closer to home. So from my counsel, that's kind of how I describe it. Now again, you don't have to describe it that way, but I'm a volunteer. I can do whatever I want. So
No, I think that's a fair comparison. The summit has some amazing facilities. I think the difference between us and them, we have a lot of similar aspects, but the big part for us is you do go on a trek. So you are with your crew, and you are hiking, backpacking. Again, it's not the focus like Jacob said, but you're on a trek, and so it has that Philmont feel, that Northern Tier feel, but with the play toys of like the summit. So yes, it's a fair comparison, but that is the difference for all those wondering if you do go from place to place like a Philmont, where you go on a trek. And so like the summit, you're kind of one location and you go to the areas every day and come back. That's when you're walking and going to the different areas as you go. So
it's kind of a hybrid, if you want to call it, between Philmont and the Bechtel Summit. And I'm sorry, I like to say Bechtel because I work for Bechtel, so I like to throw that out there every time I can. So, and if ZBASE was sponsored by
your
Bechtel,
boss is listening, right? So
probably not, but that's okay. I won't get any extra money for it, but that's okay. I like the Bechtel family. They've given a lot of money to Scouts. So, but
that's right.
Cool. Yeah. So awesome. All right. Well, continue. I keep interjecting because I'm always excited to talk to you guys about this stuff.
So Jacob, tell them a little more. We institute it this year, but we make some conveniences. We provide all the housing at ZBASE. You don't have to bring a tent. And Jacob mentioned we provide a lot of air conditioning spots, which is really cool. You don't find that anyplace else. But we also, with the way you cook your food, we started this year and we're kind of revising it and expanding it even next year. So Jacob, tell them how we provide the stoves and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, this is probably one of the things that I got most excited about for this year. We provided camp stoves in all of our adventure areas with propane, and these are nothing really fancy. They're the standard 2-burner camp stoves that any unit would have in their typical checkbox. But what it means on the broad scale is your crew no longer has to carry a stove or fuel around. It's all there. It's provided for you. Our staff did an amazing job managing that this year. All of our adventure area staff kind of took on the extra responsibility of making sure that fuel canisters were always full and always stocked. And I'll be honest, that was like my biggest fear with the whole thing was I'm going to do the call at 6 o'clock in the evening because someone's going to try to make dinner and they're not going to have fuel. But we did an amazing job. Our staff really stepped up and made sure that that worked really well. We had great feedback. Everybody was excited about not having to carry a jet boil or a whisper light, dealing with the fuel.
Yeah, I've been converted away from the whisper light. We started using. I've used them for years, and and we've got several with our troop. But when we went to Philmont last year in 2021, we actually only took a jet boil and the isobutane canisters, and I've become a zealot for that because it's just so much quicker. When you're on a trip like that, you're not cooking; you're just rehydrating food, and you want
Right.
to eat and then get on to whatever else you're doing or relaxing or whatever. It's not like you're on a regular troop camp out. So that's kind of cool because that's I mean I've carried those things for years and backpacking trips, but that's kind of cool to not have to worry about that, not have to worry about having enough fuel and having the stoves not working and that I would imagine that would make the process a lot quicker as far as rehydrating food. So that's
It
awesome.
does, and it opens up options for food. So a lot of our
Oh yeah,
food is not just a boil in the bag; it's actually some really good food. And having that stove there allows us to have open up options what you can do. So it's not just boil some water and throw in the bag and it's all dehydrated. It's a lot of different opportunities that we can open up and do this process. Again, just trying to do something just a little bit different. If you're going to be camping and hiking and doing this adventure, you might as well eat good at the same time. So this allows us to do this a little bit differently and gives us more options as well.
that's awesome. I love to hear innovation and anytime I talk to other high adventure council high adventure bases, so you look at what ZBASE is doing. They're doing they're with their marketing with the program, and not everybody has the facilities and the resources, but you can be creative and have a cool program and offer it at a pretty good price as against some of the national bases. And those are kind of the top of the line. Not everybody can do that, and that's kind of where I come in is promoting all these cool council options like ZBase because that's the 650 a person. That's very affordable across the board. We all know the major high adventure bases around the country, and they offer some awesome programs. Now, have you been searching for a cool alternative from your typical high adventure trips? As a scout leader, I want to give our scouts some great alternatives. I suggest you check out highadventurescouting.com. You'll find information on over 30 different council high adventure bases all around this great country. Maybe you're looking for a do it yourself option and need some ideas. Or if you have taken a great trip and want to share your good fortune with your fellow scouts and scouters, just send us the details and we'll publish your trip. Whatever your interest, highadventurescouting.com is a one-stop shop for all things high adventure. That's highadventurescouting.com.
And then also, we also tout that we're 20 minutes away from an international airport and 35 minutes away from downtown Tulsa, major interstates. So we're pretty close to the Midwest. Like I said, St. Louis area is just really not that far away. So we're really a day trip away from a lot of the country. So,
and I will tell you, if you're coming to that area, try to make some time to carve out and go to the memorial, or if you're coming from the other direction and going through Oklahoma City, you're only an hour and a half away from there, and
yeah, well worth the trip.
And if you go north of where you're at, you can you go to Eskimo Joe's and eat there. So
yeah.
yeah.
And then if you're a scouting buff, people don't really realize that Wade Phillips lived in Tulsa. He made his fortune in Tulsa, and when he gave Philmont to the Boy Scouts, he also gave his office is called the Phil Tower, which still is in operation in downtown Tulsa. So you can go see that. He gave his house away, and now it's a world-class art museum, and they have a huge mural of Philmont in the Philbrook Museum. So lots of scouting history that's here in Tulsa that you could actually go and see. And Tulsa's a beautiful downtown. The Art Deco architecture is world famous, and you can also do scouting history while you're here. And then obviously we're 35 minutes away from that, so it's all right here. And it's all well worth the trip to even do the side trips. So
there's also a little known fact that the first scout troop in America was actually founded in Pawhuska, which is just about 45 minutes north of where we're at. It's actually also in Osage County, but it was called Troop 1. They're still in operation. They're now Troop 33 out of Pawhuska. And I had the pleasure of working with that troop for a couple of years when I was up that way. But they had a scouting museum up there with a lot of historical documents, and even like the original charter still exists that's been verified by BSA.
Wow, that's great that they saved all that stuff. My troop is just next year we'll celebrate its 25th anniversary, and I've been trying to collect anything I can on the troop, and it doesn't exist. So I'm glad that they saved all that. That's awesome. Great history. Great history. So what else have we missed anything about what you guys have coming up? I'll tell you one thing before you go into that. What is when's the season running for this year? From when to where? Or when?
That is a great question, and I'm glad you asked. So our first date of treks is going to kick off on June 3rd, and our last date's going to wrap up on July the 9th. And then our high adventure aquatics adventure is going to start July 9th, and we're going to pick right into that. So anytime in June, even into the first week of July, I'll tell you one of the coolest things is with that last week being during 4th of July week, and we are on a public lake. There's a pretty big turnout on the lake as far as fireworks go. So there's everything on the north side of Skiatook Lake is all either private property or public access point. So there's quite a bit of fireworks displays that happen. It's an awesome time to be out on the range.
That's
I'm
awesome.
pretty excited to offer that week this year. So.
How many weeks is the aquatics? Is that just a week, or is that during that?
That's going to be a one-time 4-day program, and we are setting a cap on that one at 50 people because it'll be the first year. Got to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and we'll look into expanding it in the future. But
perfect.
Yeah, got pretty high ambition for it.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. I mean, come to July when it's hot and every day is in the water and gets to earn all your aquatic merit badges and still do some high adventure stuff all at the same time. So this is one of the few things that we actually do at ZBASE that actually has merit badge focus as far as our summer adventures. So it's a really cool opportunity. And the other part we're really touting with this, and Jacob's working hard on it right now, coming up with the whole program, but there'll be a kind of a leadership quality to it. So kind of think of a aquatics like NYLT, type of program, and then get some merit badges out of it at the same time. So
awesome. And you want to mention the other stuff you have opening up to more than just scout groups?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jacob mentioned,
I didn't know if that was a secret or
no, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. So Jacob mentioned a lot of our weekend programs that we do in the fall, and I'll let him highlight some of those other ones we do. We kind of almost a full year round of programming that we are able to offer, but ZBASE is so situated close to a large community, like we've mentioned, that we have opportunity to support a whole metro area with outdoor adventures and other youth serving organizations like church youth groups, 4-H. So there's a lot of need and want for outdoor adventures out there, and we feel like we have an opportunity to get out there and offer all this. And in corporate groups, our sporting clays, we actually rent that out pretty often to corporate groups to come out and to use all that. And what that really does is it gives other organizations opportunities to get out in the outdoors and kind of a scouting mission, but at the same time, it helps generate revenue that we get to put back into ZBASE. Some of these innovative things in our facilities that we want to upgrade or keep or build new. This allows us that opportunity to build upon that and put the money back into not only ZBASE but back into scouting locally. So yes, we want people to know that if you have a corporate group and you want to come out and rent out some awesome facilities and have a great time at the sporting clays or our adventure tower or something like that, we would love to have you out there, and that way they know they're having a great time with their group. At the same time, they can also know that they're helping out support scouting and our ZBASE mission of getting people outside and doing these unique adventures.
That's always something that I think probably every council trying to utilize their summer camp facilities or similar facilities outside of just summer camp. And I know summer camp doesn't pay for the upkeep of any camp; it just pays for the staff. So having extra things like that in awesome facilities is in the outdoors. I mean, you can't, as far as I'm concerned, you can't ask for anything more. I like being outdoors, so that's awesome. That's good to hear. All right, is there
Jacob,
any?
Yeah, Jacob, I'll highlight really quickly. Just some. We also mentioned you start off by the hiking, backpacking, but talk about just kind of the list of stuff, all the stuff we do. It's kind of a year-round program we got going on.
Yeah, we have a ton of stuff. Actually, coming up this weekend, we are doing our fall fish camp. We do a spring and a fall fish camp, and they are both immensely popular. We've been running them for 4 or 5 years now, and we have never had a fish camp that has not reached capacity. It's a great program, and guys get to have the opportunity to earn all 3 fishing related merit badges. So that's fishing, wildlife conservation, fishing, and fly fishing merit badge. And then the adults get to help out and learn all the same stuff. And the adults actually get to earn an award called the Angler Instructor. So that's a great opportunity for both adults. It's hugely popular. We've got a couple weeks. We've got Climbing Merit Badge Weekend coming up, and that one's also really cool. Fills up very fast as well, and that one actually utilizes our crown jewel, the aerial tower, to do kind of a different spin on the Climbing Merit Badge. So
yes, it is.
it's a really cool program. I will say, people who think they're pretty tough get real uncomfortable when they're trying to make a rappel off of the 70-foot, whatever element we decide to set the rappel up on that day. And then
it would freak me out, but I would still do it. I don't have. I say I don't have a fear of heights. I have a fear of falling, and as long as I'm tied up, that's quite a rush. So I would still do it. I've seen the pictures, so it looks pretty awesome. So
yeah, it is a really cool one. It's a lot of fun, and then that one fills up really fast as well. And again, we've got our hiking backpacking weekend coming up at the end of October, and our trail crew event that same weekend. We are really excited about those. One of our big projects for that weekend is flagging a potential new trail. So we're pretty excited for that. And then pushing forward into the spring, we run a ton of events, and we're looking at lumping them all into one big weekend and making it just the ZBASE adventure weekend. So that's going to be fish camp and trail crew and hiking and backpacking. And we want to actually expand our shakedown weekend to include canoeing, canoe trekking. So we're looking into incorporating some elements of that. We're looking into launching a bike packing element as well. We're doing a mountain biking program that weekend, doing some sort of shooting sports program, either at the Sporting Clays facility or the Western Village. Really opening up the entire experience and having it one big weekend where someone can sign up for a session and get to really see, one part of ZBASE, get to see all of the different parts happening all of. So we're pretty excited for the launch of that.
Well, that makes sense. That takes advantage of pretty much common staff and common activities, and that's probably a smart thing to do. Over the past couple of years, since I developed this website and eventually this podcast, I found all kinds of awesome resources online that really helped myself and our scouts and scouters on some of our trips. A couple of friends that I've developed over the last couple of years. One is Jeff Kress. He has a great website called gear-report.com where he has all kinds of information on Philmont and backpacking and other resources that really will kind of help spearhead your trip and give you some really good ideas. The other is Andy Parrish, and he has a YouTube channel called Andy Parrish Outdoors. I personally used, before I ever even knew Andy, I used this resource for getting ready for our Philmont treks. And great resource, great gear reviews, lots of interesting information, and he's genuinely a pretty down to earth guy. So both of those resources are great. There are others that I use, but those are two scouter friends of mine that recommend highly. So check out gear-report.com and go on YouTube and check out Andy Parrish Outdoors on your
Yeah.
end.
And then, I'd be remiss if I didn't also put in a plug for staff. We're already hiring staff. We're looking to fill out our staff rosters starting right now. We've got some university visits lined up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do some recruiting. We're hoping to bring back as many of our staff from this year as we can next year. But if anyone out there in podcast world is looking for a summer job, we are more than happy to promote the opportunity at ZBASE. There's a lot of responsibilities, but a lot of fun and a lot of just different things that you get to do on a day-to-day. Get paid while doing it.
Yeah, so the other thing mentioned is that we pay very well. So we start higher than, as far as I can tell, any other camp staff out there, including Philmont or some of the National High Adventure bases. So it's $400 a week, room and board included, obviously. So we pay very well. We want people to, and then plus you, like Jacob said, you get to do. Where else out there you're going to be able to do work staff and be on a cable wake park or jet skis or ATVs. So get to do some really awesome stuff and get paid well if you're going to be on seasonal summer staff. As far as I can tell, we are the highest paid starting salary out there.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, and I would assume that what we saw at kind of Philmont, even our ranger that we had, he hadn't been involved in scouting. He just likes outdoor things and heard about it, and we met several people out there that had no affiliation with scouting, but kind of came in with the right background. And I'm guessing you guys are probably on the same wavelength, hiring the best people for the best jobs. So
absolutely, we had a couple of non-scouts join our staff this summer, and they obviously it caused some drawbacks for them, not really understanding the patrol method or how our unit's organized, but they knew their jobs really well. They brought an absolutely infectious attitude, just really built great relationships with the crews that came through. 100%, they were great staffers and would love. I'm really hoping that they come back next year, because I've said it all summer. We can teach somebody how to be a Boy Scout, but we just can't teach a positive attitude and a work ethic that really makes our staff what it is.
Exactly. We went to a summer camp in Central Illinois for a couple of years, and the facilities were old. They were run down. It was an old camp, but it was the staff that was. I mean, there was activity. They were yelling. Had their own yell in each program area. It was all day long, and if you didn't know it better, it'd be exhausting. But that made people come back almost every year. It wasn't the facilities; it was the staff and the experience you had and the fun. And our guys had a blast. And again, it wasn't the facilities; it was the staff. So it would be nice to have both. So like you guys have. So.
Yep. Well, it just makes you get the right people in to the right position with the right attitude, and it doesn't matter what the job is, they can make it fun. We had a day this past summer where one of our pools, just through a weird whatever, just kind of had a algae bloom, and every single one of our staff jumped in and scrubbed the pools, which is pretty daunting, pretty nasty task, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they just they put on some music and literally dove in. And I think some of them said that was probably one of the funnest things they had. One of the funnest experiences they had was scrubbing the pool. Is right people, right place. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, have we left anything out?
It's quite a bit if everyone makes it to the end of this podcast. So
exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, you've thrown a lot out here, and I think this has been a pretty good update on what's coming up. And Jacob and Scott, I want to thank you both for joining us today and giving us a kind of overview of what's coming up the rest of this year and on into 2023.
Really appreciate the invite. Love talking about ZBASE, and appreciate what you're doing to helping get the word out, not just about us, but there's a lot of really cool programs out there, and we appreciate what you do. So
absolutely appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate having you on today. So I want to thank Jacob Southwick and Scott Thiessen from the Indian Nations Council and ZBASE for joining us today. Now, you can get more information on their programs at zbase.camp. That's zbase.camp. Thanks for joining us today. And remember to tell your friends about this podcast. You can find us online at highadventurescouting.com, on Facebook or Instagram. If you have any questions or ideas for future podcasts, just email us at info@highadventurescouting.com. This podcast and website are independent and not affiliated with any youth organization. Happy high adventure! This has been a production of High Adventure Resources, 2018. All rights reserved.